What's up, YouTube? What's going on? It's your girl Aisha the Goddess. Before I get started with this video blog, I would just like to remind you to click the subscribe button if you already haven't, and check the description box and follow me on all of my social media. Okay, so this video blog, I decided to make this because I was talking to people about meditation and, different people here and there. And one thing they would always tell me was they can't get their mind to quiet down. And they would say, I can't meditate because my mind won't quiet down. My mind talks too much. My mind. And I just wanted to give an understanding to the situation. The first thing is your mind is not you. Your mind is a separate entity from who you really are. And let me explain that, because that was the first thing. The second thing is it is you, but it's not you. Because your ego is you, but it's not you. And I know that sounds like a paradox, because it is. It is a paradox. The mind is what goes along with just having the body. You have the skin, the hair, the brain, the organs, the functions. You have all the functions that make up the mind. And I mean, you have all the functions that make up the body. And your mind is what makes the body conscious. When you're unconscious, you don't even be able to move. You know what I'm saying? You have an autonomic part of your mind, and then you have a conscious part. The autonomic part is the part that you don't have to think about breathing, you just do it. You don't have to think about your heart pumping and your blood running all over your brain. It just happens. You don't have to think about your cells getting energy and bringing in nutrients and bringing out waste and your whole body system function. That just happens. Well, there's a conscious part of your mind that deliberately thinks about things. That's the part that's like, I wonder if I should go to the store tomorrow to the day or today. I wonder, did I take the chicken out of the freezer for dinner? That's the conscious part where you're consciously thinking about something. And then there's an subconscious part that stores all of the things that become habit, your goods, your bads, your likes, your dislikes, your now I don't mess with dogs because one time when I was 5 a dog chased me down the block, and now I don't like dogs. That's that part. But there's an unconscious part that does that too. It's the part that houses the ego. It's the part that gives you your self identity. When I talk about ego, I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm not talking about got a big ego. I'm talking about ego as in the state of I. It's a state of self identity. It is the sum total of all of your experiences, all of your genetic DNA, your spiritual DNA, the side effects from past lives, your teachings, your conditioning. This all makes up who you are, how you feel about yourself, how you want the world to portray you, how you want to be viewed by the world. There is another part of you that is completely self-awareness. It is the part that it's like the difference between thinking with your heart and thinking with your mind. You're thinking with your mind, you're trying to rationalize things and you're putting things in a box. And when you're thinking with your heart, you're just feeling, you're being open, you're being vulnerable. That's the part of you that is completely self aware. It's like the mind is part of the body, and the soul and the spirit is the self aware part. So I'm going to get into right quick the difference between the soul and the spirit. These are my definitions, mind you. These are not everybody's definitions. I was talking to a friend the other day, And we were exchanging our definitions of soul and spirit, and he had a different definition than me. And I told him, yeah, those words are interchangeable, but a lot of people develop their own definitions. I have my own definitions. So for me, the soul is the animator. It is the part of God that separates itself in the form of ego and comes down here and has an experience. The spirit is the part that remembers who it is. It's there. Both of them are there. Both of them come into this body together. But the spirit is the pure part of God. It's the part that you feel when you're completely connected to God, or you're completely in the zone about something, or you're completely like had a just overflowing with joy. That is your spirit connecting. Like that is you feeling who you really are. So, I mean, most of the time we use our rational mind. We use our rational mind to function throughout the day. We use our rational mind to get us through life. So, you have your rational mind that's always working, always thinking. Even in your sleep, you're dreaming. Even if you don't remember your dream, you dream every night. So this part of your mind is always working. It's always on the go, thinking about the next, the this, the what we got to do next, or the task at hand. Thinking about what happened yesterday, what happened last week. Thinking about why we don't like things, why we do like things, how this person made us mad. We're always thinking. That always thinking thing, it creates an off balance in us because we're always thinking and we don't spend enough time not thinking. To be perfectly honest, that's when we get in this major stress. The stress of just always thinking, always have to be on the go, always have to be moving, always have to be figuring something out. I mean, it does take a lot of energy to take care of ourselves. That is just what it is. It takes a lot of energy to function, especially and to function well in the world. It requires a lot of energy. So the mind is always thinking, planning, planning, and you create this state of stress. It makes you impatient. It makes you frustrated. It makes you overwhelmed. It gives you all of these negative emotions just because you're always thinking, thinking, thinking. In order to counteract that, you have to tell the mind to shut up sometimes. You have to quiet the mind sometimes. But the problem is it's crazy. Okay, when I said that the mind is not you, I'm gonna give you proof of that right quick. Give you proof the mind is not you. If the mind was you, it would always do what you told it to do. Say you're trying to sit still and you're just trying to quiet your mind. That's when the thoughts come the most. That's when it's like, oh, what did I have to do tomorrow? I gotta call this person back. Oh man, I'm getting a text. I wonder who's on Facebook. Oh man, I gotta check my messages. I need to go shopping. I need to lose weight too. It's like your mind will start da 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 da. And you like, shh, no, I'm trying to meditate. Your mind's like, what? What? You trying to what? If it really was yours to do as you command, you wouldn't have those problems. You could say, hey, shut up. Mine would say, okay. And not only that, but sometimes it does the opposite of what you say. Like, have you ever been in a position where you was like, I'm not going to feed into that. I'm not going to let these people pull me out of my peace. I'm going to have a good day. And something happens and you lose your patience and you get frustrated. Your mind is not doing what you told it to do from the jump. You told your mind that you wanted to have a good day. And your mind is like, yeah, no, we're going to run amok. We're gonna cause a ruckus. We're gonna cuss people out. We gonna act a fool. It's like, and then sometimes, I mean, you could really be trying to say, okay, I'm not feeding into that. I'm not gonna feed into it. I got a good example. Being in a relationship, the person you're with can easily do things that will frustrate you and that would just cause you to go there. And you could say to yourself, I am not, I refuse to feed into it. And then what do you find yourself doing? Acting a fool. And it's so hard to fight against that. It's so it's so hard to stay in that place of peace. It's so hard to be like, okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna get angry. I mean, we all know that getting angry and being frustrated, it doesn't feel good. You can literally feel the stress in your body. It feels wretched. Like, ugh, ugh, throw the whole day away and let's just start over. How many days out of the week do you feel like that? I'll be glad when this day is over. Because everything has not gone the way that you feel like it should go. Everything has gone opposite of what you planned. Even you. And it's like you feed into that because it's honestly it's habit. It's just too hard to fight. It's just like, yeah, I'm about to go there. I say this thing all the time, and I think it's a 60s song, and I got it from a Medea movie. Sometimes you gotta know when to be cool, and sometimes you gotta know when to come out of a bag. And a lot of times, the coming out of the bag part isn't even necessary. It's just our habit to come out of a bag when we don't like something. You know, I don't like that. Go off. I don't feel like that's fair. Go off. Especially that. Especially the it's not fair. Yes, you're granted, you're right. Life isn't fair. Who told you it was going to be fair? That's part of life, and you're not accepting that as part of life. But that's neither here nor there. This is the thing. It's two things that are happening. If you look around you, everybody does that. Everybody. You turn on the TV, Lord have mercy, don't turn on a reality show. Come out of a bag so fast. Everybody does that, right? So it's like, it's what you see when you were a kid and your parents lost patience with you and snap. I said, shut up that noise. It's what you see. They lost patience, and that's what happens when you lose patience. That frustration comes up. It's literally what you've seen since you were a kid. It's normal to you. It's normal to you to come out of a bag. It's normal to lose patience. It's normal to get frustrated. It's called conditioning. Conditioning is the things that you learned that society taught you, your parents taught you, your school taught you, your beliefs taught you, um, the media taught you, pop culture taught you, your peers taught you, your own thoughts. It's conditioning. It's everything that you think is supposed to be there because it's what you've seen. And to be perfectly honest, it is easier to be negative. Um, NAT, it's called negative automatic thinking. It's just something the brain does. The brain will lie to you. It will judge you. The mind will, oh my goodness, it'll play tricks on you. It'll second guess you. How many times have we said, I should have followed my first mind? Who was it that, why did your mind say, nah, we're going to do it this way instead of following your first mind? Think, like I said, it doesn't do what you want it to do. It does what it wants to do, whether you want it to or not. And you're like, why did I do that? And then you're literally asking yourself, why did I follow my first mind? Or why did I knew that? I knew to do that. That's the mind. It does that. And then it judges you. You end up judging yourself. When you don't do something right, or you don't accomplish something, or something didn't turn out the way you thought it should turn out, you were working towards a goal and you didn't meet your goal. You even in that, I'm not gonna let anything bother me today. And then it did. Now you like, see, yo stupid ass. Like you'll start talking to yourself. You'll start judging yourself and belittling yourself. To me, it's no wonder that people think God judges them. We judge ourselves. If we're made in the image of God, how could God not judge us and we judge ourselves? These thought patterns are really just habit. They just really been there for so long. They're the first go to that you have. You've been doing it for so long that you've become a prisoner of your own mind. Now you're not free to feel good because your mind is so used to feeling bad. You can pretend all day long. You can walk around with a fake smile. Hi, how you doing? Good, and you? You can walk around with that fake smile, pass it on yourself. But inside your mind, you're like, I'm tired. I'm stressed. Oh my God, why do I have to go to work every day? Why is it not Friday? When is my day off? You do this all day long, and it puts you in a state of negativity. Now you're feeling like anytime something is off, it's a problem. It's a problem. It's like you have fears, you have doubts, you have judgments, you have insecurities, and they're all swirling around. You have attachments. Attachments is one of those things that creates fears that people don't even think about because attachments are part of the ego, so it's a normal thing to them. My house, my car, my kids, my life, my man. But these attachments bring a fear of loss. You're always scared you're going to lose the house. So I got to go to work. I can't lose my house. You know, and it's a stress. And it's like, I don't want to go, but I got to go. You have judgments on that shouldn't be done this way. It should be done this way. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to feel like that, but you have to understand that judgments are personal. Their own personal perspectives. And what we do is we impose them on the world. You should not do it this way. You should do it this way. You should not talk like that. You should not feel like that. When these are our own judgments for ourselves, we have to remember to keep judgments personal. I shouldn't feel like that. Or I shouldn't talk like that. Basically, based on what you want for yourself. But people are free to do what they want. I mean, you have these insecurities. When I wrote my book, and I wrote it because I was sick and I was at home, and I've always been a writer, and I hadn't actually written anything in 20 years. So when I decided to write my book, once I got finished, like really, really through to the end and started the publishing process, that's when the insecurity came. It didn't come at the beginning, it came at the end. It was like, who the fuck do you think you are to you how you want to write a book? Who do you think you are that you would be capable of writing a book? Who do you think you are that people would actually read your knowledge that you're giving them? And that insecurity came up, and I didn't even know it was there. Cause who thinks like that? I'm Aisha the goddess, but you know, it was like my mind just went in. It started going in, and what I have realized also about the spiritual path is over the years, some of the go to methods, spiritual regiments have to be tweaked, have to be changed, because there were certain things that I did at the beginning that don't work for me right now. It's like when I was younger, maybe about 9 years ago, when I really started getting into my own spiritual path, it was after my 11-year-old's father passed away. And I was by myself because it was so unexpected. I didn't expect to be alone. Me and him had a pretty good relationship. We had a pretty good partnership too. We were friends, and I always knew, like, even if we didn't end up in a romantic relationship, we would always be friends. My children would always have a father or a father figure, and then he died. And what I started doing then, what I call it the look back technique. Basically, the look back technique is where I would wake up in the morning and I would say to myself, this is how I want to be today. I want to be peaceful. I want to be positive. I want to be joyful. And then I would go throughout the day and I would just live regularly, live whatever happens to happen. And then the night before I go to bed, I would analyze everything that I did that day. Did I accomplish my goal? Was I peaceful today? Did I get pulled out of my peace? What happened? Why did I let that pull me out of my peace? And I would contemplate this. Like I would lay there with nothing but the sound around me, and I would go, why did I? Why did I decide that I got angry? What made me angry? Why did that make me angry? That was when I started realizing conditioning, because I didn't even know that that was a word, but I started realizing that over the course. I'm going to pause this video here and I'm going to come back with a part two. So stay tuned, everybody.